Hey guys, so welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. This is Chandra, and today I've got an interesting reading. This is something that came in from an anonymous person that would like to, well, let me kind of explain it like this. So this person's Nan, I'm assuming that's a grandmother, just passed away a couple days ago. They reached out to me the day of, and they wanted to know if it was possible that they could contact their Nan, or if it was possible to, get a message or something like that along, So they're wanting to know also maybe if there's anything that hey, peace of mind. What I was just explaining is what's happening is we have this tarot card reading that's come in, and it's from someone anonymous. They want to know if it's possible that they can reach out or get some kind of a message or learn some kind of something from their Nan, which I'm assuming is the grandmother, who just recently passed away a couple days ago. And this was back on June the 10th. And so what they're wanting to know is if it's possible to, get a message across, or, something happens. And that it's really interesting because when this reading came in to me from this anonymous person, I just, I've never had really a reading like this, and I've had similar readings, but nothing exactly like this before. And so it does really touch on a lot of different type of topics, like, is it possible to connect with people, after they've materially, physically passed away? And, that's a good question. I think that, I know just from the consciousness of the world that some people claim, yes, it's possible. Other people, it goes against their beliefs and their religion and spiritual ideas about things. And so they say, well, no, it's not possible. So I know that there's sort of not an argument, but just kind of like a difference in opinion about this type of topic. I'm not here to judge or anything like that. It's not my way of doing it. I think that in a situation like this, if, for example, the cards, or I get something intuitive from the grandmother and it comes out, and it speaks to the person asking the question, then maybe that's a yes for them. On the other hand, if it doesn't, at least they have it, then it's maybe a no for them. So, but it's not so much even about that. Really, like when someone passes, and for people that have never gone through like a major loss, like someone very near and dear to them or close to them, it's really hard to be on that same page, because until you actually go through something traumatic like it, there really is no way, there is no other experience like it. There's like a whole progression to it. And there's been some really good research and studies that have been done on, like when someone passes, what's the emotional state that someone goes through. There are certain stages of grief. And I forget who she is, but she wrote a book on it, I believe. And it was the different types of stages of grief, like you go through, anger and guilt and all these other kind of things. And I personally think it's rather valid. Other people may feel differently with their own different experiences, but at the end of the day, it comes down to our own individual experiences and what we believe or what we feel. So with that being said, let's do the reading. We're going to do a 7-card reading for this individual pertaining to their grandmother. We'll look at sort of the past, the present, and the future. The past is maybe where we get some of that understanding, or some things come to light, And if that comes through in the reading and all, then maybe that gives that person some reassurance or some understanding or something about their grandmother. If it doesn't, then nothing lost. And then in the present moment, it's about what's happening right now. It's about this connection to that. And then in the future and all, it's really maybe about the message or kind of what's going on with this person in their future and stuff. And pertaining to like, in this kind of capacity, if I pick up something, it could be that the grandmother is giving a message or something to this individual about their future and stuff. And then when it comes to fruition, they're like, light bulb goes off, or it's like you get that kind of that like almost goosebump feeling where like, oh, wow, this was so relevant. Then we also have, we'll look at really the answer, the emotional state of what's going on in the present moment with this. We'll look at kind of what this person is desiring and looking at, and then we'll also kind of find out what the outcome here is. So it's a great question. It's something that's a little metaphysical in nature to some degree, but going through grief and it is a really difficult place to be in mentally. It really is. So let's find out what the cards have to say. So in the past, it was about the Queen of Swords. So in this case, the Queen of Swords is all about queens are about influence. Swords are about influence over the mind. Or so this grandmother probably had a pretty impactful influence over this person and kind of like how they thought. I'm just picking up a couple of things here, so just bear with me for a moment. It's almost like this grandmother was a bit intuitive and could actually communicate, intuitively with this person. So they had sort of this connection between them. It's like the grandmother was able to communicate kind of on the same level as this individual. And that's what made her really her energy was just really loving and made this person feel extremely special. Like, I see a smile like on this person's face. I see kind of like, polka dots, but not like small ones, like bigger polka dots. Like there's and white. So like, but the background is sort of white or something. I'm picking up maybe purple. Something like this is what I'm picking up. Like silver hair, gray or kind of silver hair. Really good energy. Like I pick up a really nice energy around this person's aura. And cooking. Like I can see this person doing cooking or baking or something along this line. There's like something like shared experiences, like in the kitchen maybe, or doing some nice cooking or something along those lines. I just really feel that kind of almost like maybe that white that I was picking up could almost have been like an apron, like a cooking apron or something. So kind of feeling that. It's almost like, sort of coming out of the kitchen and kind of like looking at the camera, like maybe getting like almost like they're getting their picture taken or something like that. Like, and it's just a grandmother, I'm not seeing like necessarily like maybe a rolling pin or something in the hand or something, maybe some baking. This person liked to bake. Kind of what I'm seeing. I'm almost maybe glasses also, like some like little, but I'm picking up this kind of like it's like a grandmotherly type energy. I'm definitely feeling that. So let's look at the present moment now. Wow, this is Okay, peace of mind. Thank you for tuning in with us. And let's see. So we have this energy here. It's about jubilation. It's the Three of Cups. That's what's going on right now. So it's almost like there's a celebration of sorts. Three is about, they say third time's a charm. I don't know where that just came from, but like third time's a charm. It's about celebration and accomplishment. Sort of a general sense that there is abundance, happiness. It's about the end or the conclusion of maybe some kind of past problem or something like that. Maybe like this person had like some kind of like an illness or something that was like a long-term illness. And maybe they had to go through like some pain or some suffering or something. And now this has kind of come to an end, and so it's a time for celebration. It's almost like I'm picking up that the grandmother is like saying, look, it's time not to be stressed out, not to be like upset, but to really just kind of like be more celebratory. It's a good thing. This is a positive thing. This is a time of real abundance and happiness, or it should be anyway. Like the end of like, the end of a problem. And then we have the future card. Let's see here. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Wow, so we had the Queen of Swords. That's the influence over the mind and making an impact on this person's life mentally. And now we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is I'm kind of getting goosebumps here. It's like it's about how we interact with ourselves and others. But this queen here, this is almost like your grandmother helping you in a material way. It's about showing her love for you through like material gifts. Could be like an inheritance or something along those lines. And for some reason, like 3 came out. So maybe like 3 months or something like that, or 3 weeks or something. I'm not 100% sure on the time on this one, because I'm calibrated to about 3 months out, and that's about where I'm picking this up. That's the number that just kind of came to me, the number 3. But it's almost like this material gift or something like that, something given to you that was your grandmother's, is like a way of her acknowledging or saying to you that, she really is fond of you and really does, love you and care a great deal for you. Let's look at what the answer card is for this. Okay, so the answer card is the Ten of Swords, okay? And this is like swords in the back of a person, who's been compromised in a battle of the mind. And so this 10 of Swords is, this is the answer to what the outcome will be. So you have to kind of look at it in that sort of context here. It's not just about like, what's going on right now. So let's hold off a little bit. I'll tell you more about this card in a moment. Let's go to the next card, which is kind of the energy surrounding this present moment here. This is this time of, it's like she's wanting celebration or abundance, end of a conclusion, of end of a problem, that kind of thing. Okay, so we have the Moon. Okay, so the energy surrounding the current situational. Moon is a very hypnotizing card. Very, very relevant in this particular reading. It causes us to kind of think in a very narrow way. It's almost like, something happens, something, you can't get your mind off of it. It just hits you and you just can't refocus onto anything else because your thoughts always keep coming back to this. That's what this Moon card is really doing. And so it's bringing everything back to this conclusion, this death of your Nan. And the thing with this is that it doesn't matter, like, the moon's also about quality of endings. In numerology, the moon is represented by the number 9. Nine's about endings and completions in numerology. It's about the end of one chapter so that you can start a new chapter. And normally before you start the next chapter or the next book or so on and so forth, there's a little pause there. So there's like a kind of this intermediary, period. It's sort of like an intermission period where you're just taking a break before you continue moving on. That's what this moon is really advising. So, like, take time to mourn, take time to celebrate your grandmother, your Nan. Take time to understand that I'm picking up she's feeling like this is a really positive thing for her because of maybe where she's been at for a period of time, with her health or along those lines. So it's sort of this. For her, it's like really positive, but maybe for like people who feel like they've lost a loved one, it would be very painful. But I'm really picking up like 3 is about this cohesion, like this. It's really celebratory. So it's really interesting that comes up in this reading, because oftentimes when we think of the passing of someone near and dear, it's normally like, more of like a morose or kind of like a sad feeling that we start to feel. Let's move on to where you're at right now, Mr. or Miss Anonymous. And we're at the King of Pentacles. So this is what you would like to see as far as the outcome and everything goes. This is sort of like, this could be the unconsciousness of your thoughts happening. The moon, by the way, is significant of unconsciousness going on, kind of like things that are below the surface, things that are not always seen. We have the moonlight, like when you're outside, you have the moonlight, but there's a lot of things you can't see until the next day when the sun comes out and it illuminates everything. So this is a period of like introspection sometimes. It's also a period of not always seeing things in the best light, or in the, not always being aware of some of the things that are unknown, which how would you? And then we have the King of, hey Farid. And then we have the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles it's a foundation card, and it's the kings are about authority. Kings are authority figures. This king here attracts wealth. And so kind of the thinking or the idea here is sometimes this king can also be a little bit materialistic, but they're also very grounded. So I'm picking up that there's a sense of like wanting a feeling of groundedness, wanting to feel like the earth isn't coming out from underneath you, wanting to feel like things are going to be okay, wanting to feel that, abundance and being able to use money and stuff to take care of others. But this king here is really good at attracting and using wealth and that kind of thing, and can be a bit materialistic, maybe a little bit egotistical, maybe tend to be a little bit narcissistic along those lines and all. But that could be just, I'm just putting it out there because, given the circumstances, that's just kind of where the current energy is as far as like what you would like the outcome to be, like what you would like to see happen and stuff. So it's really, feeling a sense of security, a sense of knowing that things are going to be good financially and everything. And then finally we have the outcome, and the outcome is the Hierophant. So this is very, telling here. The Hierophant teaches us the importance of culture, tradition, religion, spirituality, culture. It's all these things that are important to us, that it's like our identity. These are the things that sort of make up our identity or who we are. There are values. We make vows based on these, important traditions and religions and values. And in many ways, this is sometimes called the Pope card. Pope is, you can see that sort of emulated here. And then the 5 above the Pope right there is also indicative of change. It's representing change, things changing and stuff. But when things change, the thing to remember, the thing to hold on to is like our beliefs, not to let those things go. It's so easy to do that sometimes when someone passes, like there's a passing, because the things that we feel grounded in, the things that we feel, and that's what you're wanting, is that groundedness. That's what this king is all about right here, is this wanting to feel grounded, like you are not going to lose it. This Hierophant, though, is really the key, or the thing to the outcome here for you is getting back to the basics, getting back to the traditions, getting back to the things that are important in life. Letting go of some of the other ideas and things that maybe you haven't been that you've been too focused on for so long, and maybe getting back to kind of like where things are more important. Like it could be simple living and high thinking kind of values. It could be like the idea of spiritualism over materialism. It could be this idea of letting go of this mindset of loss and gain. It could be a lot of things. Definitely picking up some kind of like ritualistic kind of vibe there. Maybe Catholicism. I don't know if it's Catholicism or something, but like maybe just getting back to like one's belief system, that kind of thing. And then this 10 of Swords, this is the answer to getting there. And it's this understanding that when one door closes, another opens. So like when death happens, it gives rise to new beginnings or new other things, like a new birth happening or a rebirth of things. And in this case, I'm almost picking up more of a rebirth than an actual birth. This is about, I'm sort of feeling like this is kind of the answer to getting back. So to getting back to this cohesiveness, this closeness that you have with your traditions and your culture and things, religion and spiritual beliefs, and that is that when this event happens, like your grandmother's passing and everything, it really is this kind of rebuilding and reconnecting in a lot of ways with, your values from the past and so on. And being able to celebrate that now, and to, in the near future, maybe 3 months out or so, is just being able to take, and you'll be in a much better place, in about 3 months from now. It does take a time, it really does. I mean, especially if someone's really near and dear to you, and you love that person very much. So just to have an understanding that right now in this current present situation, that you get that moon energy kind of coming in around everything. And so there's a lot of things beneath the surface, things that have not been revealed yet necessarily. But this is really also saying, kind of trust your intuition and all. Whatever you're feeling, that's valid. And to really, kind of embrace that kind of a mentality or that space. Celebrate those times, that you shared with your grandmother and that. And so that's really kind of what I'm picking up. And the energy is just kind of like a veil being lifted off of a table or something like that, like a tablecloth coming up, or like almost like a bed sheet coming up where you have the air underneath, and it creates this kind of like it's just a gradual kind of lift. Like if you've ever, like very soft, picking that up, like with this reading and all, almost like a white linen tablecloth or a white cotton tablecloth or something, like on a table being brought up, and it's like being placed, and it's sort of like a good omen or a good sign. So, well, I hope that this helps you, Mr. or Miss Anonymous. And if you need anything, please reach out to me. If this has helped you in any way, please let me know. I'm always here for you. And if anyone else is picking up anything, anybody else who practices any form of divination or something like that, or just as intuitive or psychic, if anyone else picks up anything from this reading or from this question, please, provide whatever you can in the description below, or like in the comments of this video. Maybe you can help this person in some capacity, or bring them some comfort or some relief in this time of hardship for them. But thank you so much, and it was a blessing to be able to try and help in the best way that I could. Much love and many blessings.